Alrighty. Good day to all you glorious Rascallion Resonators. You absolute perfect legends, you dudes and dudettes. The name's FOXSOL. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to some more Wuthering Waves. And like always, I'm hoping that you're having a terrific, amazing, fantastic day wherever you're at. So today's video topic of choice is going to be a different one in all honesty. Let me pull this up. I was actually given a Discord comment, well, a Discord message from one of our members, which is Noisy. And Noisy here says, Fox, I am not sure if you're open for video ideas, but I think like 1 month ago, someone made a video about a 4-star weapon being more outclassed by a 5-star weapon than in other gachas. So much so that most limited weapons become legit a must pull. And that Kuro was kind of planning to do this from the start. Hence the reason why the banner always guarantees to give you what you wish for. Do you agree with that? Well, let's talk about it. Pull up a seat, sit down at the bar, relax, get yourself a cold one, and let's talk about 4-star weapons and 5-star weapons. So, from what Noisy has pointed out, someone already made a video on this and discussed this. And you know what? From the entire description of what I read there in the beginning, which we'll pull up one more time, you know, the idea that, 4-star weapons are being outclassed more by 5-star weapons, much more than any other gacha. And that it is mandatory pretty much with your characters to get their signature weapons. And I will have to say that, you know what, I do feel that that is a true statement. I feel that, you know what, yes, the 5-star weapons do more or less outclass the 4-star weapons in a lot of different ways, and that they are somewhat a necessary, need for the particular characters that you're going for. But I don't think that is for everything. Okay, I don't think that is the case scenario for every single situation. What I mean by that is that depending on what you're trying to do with a character, what you're trying to build that character as, there is some cases where a 4-star weapon may provide a better handle than that of a 5-star weapon. And I already gonna hear it before I even start. You know what? Right now, someone's just got their little blinker up over here above their head. They just hit a nerve, and it's like, oh no, you're wrong, FOXSOL. You're wrong. There is all 4-star weapons. There is not a good single 4-star weapon. Oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're a fucking retard. Well, guess what? Maybe I am. But depending on what you're trying to do with a team, depending on what you're trying to accomplish, 4-star weapons could actually be a more of a benefit to different characters. And let's go ahead and let's take, for example, we'll deploy this team right here. We'll deploy my GN team, and then I'm going to go ahead and skip. In terms of the DPS, okay, your main character of sorts, the signature weapon will always be the primary weapon that you should strive for when it comes to your DPS. In that case, you want the best weapon you can get your hands on. Now, there is some DPS characters that don't have signature weapons, but other character signature weapons would work just as well on them as if anything. Because look at Verdant Summit. Verdant Summit right here is a weapon for GN, and it has an attack value of 587 with a crit rate of 48.6. We have it at a rank 2, which means that the sword's horn is increased the attribute damage by 15%, and every time intro skill or resin liberation is cast, it increases heavy attack damage bonus by 30%, stacking up to 2 times, and the effect lasts for 14 seconds. Someone as such as Cal here could use, GN's weapon, and it would benefit him. And it would work. I've seen it. I've done it myself. It will help out in general. But, In some cases, like even, Abyss Surges, which is a standard 5-star weapon that you can get, it still would outclass majority of the 4-star weapons. I have it right now in Jianxin. And with her, Storm Resolution increases the energy regen rate by 12.8% when hitting a target with Resonant Skill, increases basic attack damage bonus by 10%, lasting for 8 seconds, and when hitting a target, basic attacks increases Resonant Skill damage by 10%, lasting for 8 seconds. However, okay, this is a little bit of a flip-flop. This weapon is really good in this regards, but is it a weapon that we primarily, do need for Jianxi? I put it on her. It's not the weapon that I was originally using. It works for her. It's really good. It gives her a little bit more attack bonus, more attack damage. But we're going to go switch over to my next character, Mortifi. This is a 4-star weapon. I did not go try to pull a 5-star weapon for him for a gun or anything like that. I left him with a 4-star weapon, and this is what he's going to stay with. Because of one reason only. All Mortifi's job is to do is basically to pop an outro skill as fast as possible. And certain weapons, like the Condanza here, if you read it, we even went ahead and ranked it up to rank 4. When Resonant Skill is cast, it restores 14 Conchero energy. This effect can trigger one time every 20 seconds. In this case regards, this is a weapon that has attack, energy regen, and it can restore 14 kinetic energy basically, every 20 seconds. This right here to me is a better weapon on Mortifi because his job is not to do damage. His job is not to do anything else. With the Echo perk that he has, with the Moonlit Clouds, with how his entire structure is, it is all based on energy regen, and it's based on swapping him out as fast as possible. And every little bit helps. This 14 Conchero energy right here really is also another thing that can help to ensure that we're getting that fast pace going. So on some characters like sub DPSs, you may want to consider, I also have this on my Tao Chi, which, she works with Chang Li. Hers is rank 5 and it restores 16 energy. And this is what it's all is there for. All is there for is to make sure that my sub DPS is buffing my main DPS. And certain weapons, in this case regards, I want to make sure that the outro energy, like I like to call it, is being built up as fast as fucking possible. This little extra 14 and 16 energy that's going to go into it is just going to make it even faster, just to make sure it pops off. There's no 5-star weapon that's going to right now that I could put on either of them that's going to make that signature pop as best as that. And to me, certain weapons like this, certain echo sets and everything else, also all together, will make an unutilized character such as Tao Chi right here. I'll show you. She's completely not been built or anything, but she is very much utilized on the team and does tremendous. She does a tremendous job to ensure that outro skill is popping and making sure that we have a 38% increasement in resonant skill damage for Chang Li, as well as giving Chang Li a 22.5% bonus with her echoes. And just because this is this weapon can be outclassed, it can be outclassed by Jian's weapon, it can be outclassed by Jianxi's weapon. I understand this. Any 5-star weapon will outclass this. But for this perk right here, that perk actually, it's more beneficial for me for what the character is doing. This is the idea that I'm just going to suggest to people is that same thing. I use variation, same principle idea, for Baichi. When you look at weapons, you got to look not just, at the attack or this. You have to look at what the weapon is capable of doing, what it is supposed to do. And then you can come up whether or not that it's going to be a benefit more or less. Is this weapon outclassed by this weapon? Yes. Is this weapon right? Is this weapon right here? Is Rhyme Drape's, Sprouts outclassing every single one of these 4-star weapons? Yes, 150 fucking percent it is. Okay. It's going to have more damage. It's going to do better. It's going to have a better ranking stat. But again, it depends on what you want to try to do with that character. What is the goal of that character in your team? Is the goal of that character to, buff up the rest of the team? To buff up your DPS? Is the goal of that character to do damage? Is the goal of the character to heal your team? There is different reasons to use different weapons in different places. I would say in the general aspect that from what Noisy has provided to me, yes, 100% five. The short answer to everything is yes. 5-star, outclasses 4-star weapons, but 4-star weapons are still useful, especially if you are a person who is like, let's say, your UL level 50 and your characters, they're nowhere near level 90. Your characters are level 50 or so. Guess what? You're at the point right now where you can use 4-star weapons and it's not going to affect you. It's not going to be that bad, and you'll see results. When you get to the later stages of the game, you're going to want to have your team to have 5-star weapons, but the part of your team you're going to want to have 5-star weapons is the primary damage dealers. It's going to be the primary ones that it's going to be signature weapons. It's going to affect, the outcome of your damage. 4-star weapons right now, the only one that I see that is truly good for me is any of the ones that restores the Conchero energy. That's it. That's the only one so far for me that I see. I can see that even then you have like Comic Flare, luminous protection. When dealing basic damage or heavy attack damage, you increase the healing bonus by 3%, stack it up 3 times. This effect lasts for 8%. This might be a good one too to use in certain circumstances. And you know what? It might be worth going ahead with Comic Flare to level this one up, because you're going to get an increased health bonus of 5% right here for this one, which is at level 5, and it can stack up. There's different things that you can look at. It depends on what the character is. I'm not saying that, every 4-star weapon is shit. But like I said, I think that in some case scenarios, when it comes to certain characters, there is some 4-star weapons that not going to outclass, but are going to be more useful for the entire team rather than just the character itself. That's what you got to look at. It's a team-based game. You got to look at what the role of that character is. When you're looking at a game like League of Legends, right? You have an ADC, you have a top laner, you have a mid laner, and you have a support, and you have a jungler. Each person has a different build. Each person has a different role on the team. What is the role that you're trying to basically fill and you're trying to make work? In this case regards for GLYTCH, I'm looking at trying to make her heal as best as possible, but I'm also trying to make sure that I have her outro skill that's going to pop off as well. So to me, with, Moonlit Clouds and using variation, same thing for Mortifi, this is a reason to use a 4-star weapon. That's it. Just look at what you're trying to accomplish. Just take a look at what weapons are doing and think of how you want to build your team. That's all. Because it's not that it's saying it's not to say that it's going to be the best build. It's just that what's more useful for the team. That's it. To me, what's more useful for Mortifi is just to get him going, build up that kinetic energy as fast as possible, and throw him out and put GN in place and give GN the heavier damage buff and be done. So tell me what your thoughts is down below about 4-star weapons versus 5-star weapons. Do you agree with my assumption that, in some cases, 4-star weapons probably are a more benefit to certain team structures versus, thinking of it as a character base? Like I said, I'm looking at weapons. How would they benefit the team, not benefit the character? Do you agree with that assessment? Do you disagree with that assessment? Either way, leave your comment down below. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you hated the video. Consider subscribing to the channel, or just consider just unsubscribing to the channel if you think I'm a fucking knob. Alrighty guys, also consider going ahead and joining the Discord. The link is down in the description below. If that you want to come in, talk to me and tell me I'm stupid, tell me I'm smart, tell me I'm an idiot, whatever you like, don't care. I'm all good for open conversation. And until next time, keep it classy, keep it jazzy, and keep it real. See you on the flip side. Peace. And thank you, Noisy, for the comment to make this video. It was great. It was actually really great. Thank you, buddy.